Hello guys, so welcome to my video today. So this is going to be about, I don't know, just Chris Hemsworth thinking that his portrayal as Thor wasn't really that good, and he feels like people could have done better. But then Robert Downey Jr. kind of disagrees with Chris Hemsworth that he was replaceable as Thor, said he's the most complex psych out of all the Avengers, and I just couldn't agree more. Because yeah, Thor has always been my favourite I guess Avenger. Well, I'd say since the 2012 film, because I wasn't really a big fan of his first film, but I could tell his character had potential. And I just feel like he tends to shine more in the team-up films than his actual own films, because I just don't know, the people who directed those films, just, I don't know, maybe they just didn't fully was able to execute the complexity of Thor. So maybe that's why we've never had like a truly perfect Thor film, because he's just so complex they can't even get him right. They're just not really getting the right writers to truly make him shine. I'd say Infinity War's the closest they've been able to like truly make him like shine to the point where even others finally started to be fans of Thor. Where I was kind of a fan of Thor since 2012, but then in 2018, after Infinity War, like just bring me Thanos and all that, and just all the stuff he's been going through up to that point, like people just started to truly see how well of a character he truly was, man. How well made of a character he was. It's just, they just never really had the best directors. It's like the Russo brothers or someone else should have been directing the whole time for story. Like just everything that he goes through, how long he's lived for, stuff with his brother Loki, just all the losses he's had with, you know, his father Asgard. All that stuff is so complex with what's probably going on in his mind, and I just don't know. Most of the directors who direct Thor just don't understand that, and they always keep making him seem like he's developing, then he just kind of resets. Because, you know, he kind of starts off as like a spoiled brat, then he starts to learn from humans and stuff, like Jane Foster, for example. He becomes a better person, has to mourn things that he's lost, but then they just for some reason keep resetting. And when it comes to Loki, not really much you can do about that, but yeah, just the amount of times he has to see his brother die, and it's all fake. Yeah. And then all the other stuff as well. They just keep like restarting like his character so many times, because the directors are just like trying to have their own take on Thor when he already has like a perfect take. Because they could just continue off from where he left off on the first Thor film, and how they was kind of developing his character in, you know, the first Avengers film, where he couldn't really work together that well with a team, but then he starts to like care a lot about the team. Just a lot of the character development he was getting, to the point where you get to Infinity War, where he's just such a broken person, and he's just trying to find a reason to keep going. Yeah. And how when you get to flipping Thor: Love and Thunder, they just completely ruin it. They reset his character, but even worse than probably from the first Thor film. Beyond immature, like he's just completely stupid at that point, and maybe that's where Chris Hemsworth's thinking like he's just failed as playing as Thor. But it's not really his fault. It's people like Waititi flipping directing Thor: Love and Thunder. Ragnarok, even though that's probably the best Thor film I've watched, it's just fun. But like you're getting some of the most serious stuff that's happening to Thor in Ragnarok, but he's just making it a flipping joke. And then when you get to Love and Thunder, the love of his life is dying, and they're making that a joke. They're literally making cancer a joke. It's just so stupid, man. Like Jesus Christ. But yeah, Hemsworth have starred in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since 2011's Thor, and continued to play the hero over 9 films in a decade that followed, including 4 Avengers movies. When speaking Vanity Fair about his Marvel tenure for May issue, Hemsworth said he regrets Thor: Love and Thunder, which I don't blame him, because Waititi is a flipping child. He's a complete moron. I don't get how he got to direct Love and Thunder. But I've heard that he actually has good films, because he can use the comedy better in those films, but the ones that we actually care about, he just completely destroys the story and stuff, and the characters. Yeah. And was also jealous of the script in that his Avengers co-stars were given. Sometimes I felt like a security guard for the team. I would read everyone else's lines and go, oh, they got way cooler stuff. They're having more fun, he said. That's what my character's doing. It was always about, you've got the wig on, you've got the muscles, you've got the costume. Where's the lightning? He added, yeah, I'm part of this big thing, but I'm probably pretty replaceable. Man, it just sucks to hear him say that, because he is my favourite Avenger. He always has been my favourite Avenger. Yes, Iron Man started it all, and I guess because there was not really much to choose from back then, I guess Iron Man was my favourite until 2012 when we actually got to see the Avengers. But once we saw Thor, instantly my favourite. Yeah. He added, yeah, I'm part of this big thing that probably pretty replaceable. In the same article, Downey Jr. said he disagreed with his co-star and praised the work he put into bringing Thor to life, along with the director of the first film. Even though I'm not really a big fan of the first film, he did a better job than flipping Waititi with what he's done to Thor. Like, just making him a complete moron. Like, Jesus Christ. Not being able to move on and actually develop. Like, that's Waititi's fault from the previous directors. Like, you should have built up upon, you know, all the suffering's been going through and just trying to find, you know, a way to keep going and stuff. And just the way how he decided to do it was just completely stupid. Yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder is like one of the worst Marvel films and probably one of the worst superhero films. They had such good story. Even Christian Bale, who played as flipping Gore, like, he could have been so good, but he just completely ruined everything in that film. Yeah, it's just a terrible film. So first off, Thor as a character was super tricky to adapt. Lots of implied limitations, but he and Ken Branagh figured out how to transcend, make him somehow relatable but godlike, he said. Hemsworth is, in my opinion, the most complex psyche out of all the Avengers. He got wit and gravitas, but also such a restraint, fire, and gentleness. Downey Jr. continued before describing Hemsworth's work in Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame as a formidable hat trick. Because, yeah, even though Ragnarok, I just hate how they kind of take away from some of the more serious moments. But at least going into Infinity War, like, what he went through in Ragnarok still matters, and we just get the best development out of anything Thor's been through, with him just wanting to get revenge on Thanos for killing his brother and just all the stuff when he's been through. And the Guardians being there for him, which they do nothing with them in Love and Thunder. Yeah, and then Endgame is just, he's fat, but people have a problem with that, even though in actual mythology he's fat, like in the game, like Ragnarok, fat. So yeah, who cares? And he's just going for a lot, because he probably felt like he could have killed Thanos, but then he failed, and he was just like, damn. And he's just like at his worst in Endgame. But then he finds out he can bring his friends back, yeah. But then even after that, he still loses more friends, like Natasha and Iron Man. Yeah, well. So he's always just trying to find a reason to keep going, yeah. And probably some people think like, man, yeah, and himself, Chris Hemsworth, thinking like, man, is my character even developing? But he actually has been, but it's just some directors, like Waititi, for example, and the one who made The Dark World, even though there was some good stuff in that, but it's just such a boring film. Like, they don't understand Thor properly enough compared to the first director, and even though Waititi got some things right in Ragnarok, but just didn't really make him serious until we got to Infinity War with Russo brothers. Because the Russo brothers, in my opinion, have like done the best with Thor in Infinity War, so it just sucks that it's got to a point where Chris Hemsworth just hates his role now, which sucks, man, because he's always going to be my favourite Avenger, yeah. So Hemsworth is not the only MCU star who has opened up about his issues with his costumed character. Other well-known actors, including Dave Bautista, Kamali Nanjiani, and Anthony Hopkins, have also made it clear that they struggled with their pressures of working on a huge blockbuster for several years. Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, and Jeremy Renner are the only original members of the Avengers team who are still were actively appearing in the MCU. Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth both left after Endgame, and Scarlett Johansson exited following 2021's Black Widow. With projects like Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight, it's clear that Marvel Studios is focusing on younger, newer characters ahead of 2027's Avengers Secret War, rather than constantly relying on the original heroes, which they've just failed at this point. However, the question still remains of whether audiences will be bored of superhero movies, but that's not the issue. It's bad writing, bad characters. It's like these modern characters they're trying to introduce, they've just failed them because of bad writing, woke writing. Like, that's the actual issue. Like, so Business Insider, like, whatever, you don't understand the actual issue because you're obviously not an MCU fan. Because we know what's the actual issue. Yeah, the message, woke stuff, bad writing, getting the one directors, ruining the characters and the story. That's the real issue, yeah. And after stuff like X-Men 97, and hopefully Deadpool Wolverine is good, they'll maybe focus on something actually good, like bringing the X-Men to the MCU, maybe actually developing the remaining old characters like Hulk and Thor, Hawkeye, better. Even though if they didn't really do anything else with Hawkeye, I'd be fine with it. If he like just appeared for like the team-up moments, then that's fine. And he's just like, I'm just going to retire now, because he's got it perfect right now out of all the Avengers, because there's like flipping 3 of them that are dead, and then the remaining 3. I mean, Hulk has a son, but I'm not going to talk about She-Hulk. No, I'm not talking about She-Hulk, but yeah. And yeah, Hawkeye, he has a family. Thor, he's just trying to. Well, at the end of Love and Thunder, he kind of ends up getting a daughter. So they all have kids at this point to look after. Yeah. So really, they could maybe just make one more film where they're just like retiring and just giving like the legacy to the newer generation. And it just sucks that probably Tom Holland, even though I've had problems with his Spider-Man, is probably not going to be around for much longer when they finally decided to get him right. But I just feel like Tom Holland deserves better than just playing Spider-Man, since they kind of, in my opinion, didn't really get him right for so long until flipping No Way Home. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. And yeah, respect for Robert Downey Jr., knowing that, you know, Chris Hemsworth Thor is possibly the best character in the MCU, and it just sucks that so many directors have failed him and only a few have got him right. But yeah, that's it for my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you can leave a like. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.